Hello everybody, this next clip provides you with some insights into SA Taxi. The minibus taxi context remains unchanged. The industry is defensive and growing with resilient operators. This is driven by structural elements that support minibus taxi resilience, including that it is the largest and most vital component of the integrated public transport network. Growth in this industry is driven by the industry's ability to operate with no government subsidy, the fact that it is indispensable to SA's economic productivity and an early beneficiary of economic and social recovery, and that commuters rely on minibus taxis given their accessibility, their reliability, their affordability, their convenience, their flexibility, and their competitive pricing. The final structural element driving industry growth is that demand for minibus taxis by far exceeds supply. Regardless, we see a challenging environment for minibus taxi operators, with lower COVID-19 related commuter mobility and restricted operating activity impacting profitability. Despite lower interest rates, lower fuel prices and fare increases, vehicle prices continue to increase. The telematics on this slide tracks SA Taxi's fleet movement for this past year. The data provides empirical evidence proving the following. Firstly, COVID-19 has proven that the minibus taxi industry is absolutely indispensable. As the dominant mode of public transport, the minibus taxi industry is an essential service and it operated during the Level 5 lockdown. However, at significantly lower levels of activity. In addition to the reduced activity per vehicle, COVID-19 restrictions also resulted in lower passenger loads. The next thing we see is a quick recovery and transition towards normal activity as restrictions eased and the economy reopened, as commuter mobility is a precursor to any economic activity, and spending on minibus taxi is non-discretionary, making the industry extremely defensive. The last thing that we see is that operators are able to afford loan and insurance installments, supported by increased fares, reduced interest rates, and reduced fuel prices. SA Taxi's financial performance was subdued due to far higher credit provisions and operational disruptions caused by COVID-19. This caused headline earnings to reduce by 59% to 181 million rand. Despite this, SA Taxi delivered a resilient financial performance. Core provision profit was up 11% and a net interest margin of 11.8% was achieved. Non-interest revenue increased by 4%, driven by gross written premium increasing by 10%. Lower than the 20% increase we saw in 2019, affected mainly by higher lapse rates experienced due to COVID-19. Non-interest revenue was further subdued due to lower loan originations, as COVID-19 constrained the supply of new and pre-owned minibus taxis into the market, and SA Taxi Direct, SA Taxi Auto Parts, and SA Taxi Repairs was closed for more than 2 months of the year. The core cost-to-income ratio improved to 43.2% from 44.2% in 2019, driven by effective cost management. Let's now look at SA Taxi's credit performance. Gross loans and advances increased by 14% to 12.2 billion rand. This growth was offset by the number of loans originated reducing by 27%, driven by lower Toyota production due to industrial action in January 2020 and the closure of their plant during lockdown. In addition, SA Taxi Direct and other external dealerships were also closed due to COVID-19. Lower repossession and settlement activity due to COVID-19 also drove growth. The NPL ratio increased to 32.3% as the number of loans originated reduced, collections reduced due to COVID-19 disruption, and we saw collections at about 23% in April, which clawed its way up to about 85% by September 2020. The credit loss ratio increased to 7.3% from 3.2% in 2019, as SA Taxi elected to apply a conservative provisioning approach to the impacts of COVID-19 and continued to age and provide for their loans as usual. Credit impairments increased by 160% to 836 million rand. That's compared to 322 million rand in the 2019 year. It's important that loss given default has remained consistent, with recovery on repossessed vehicles still exceeding 75% of settlement value. Provision coverage increased to 6.7% from 4.8%, protecting SA Taxi's balance sheet and facilitating growth into the 2021 year. Thank you everyone. Until I see you again, stay safe, stay healthy and stay productive.